Welcome to the Impressa Era podcast, a realm where intuition flows through real life and your personal power is celebrated. I'm your host, Queen Impressa, and together we'll explore tarot, self-mastery, sensuality, and aligned growth. Now take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's get into it. Hello, lovelies, and welcome back. It's your intuitive homegirl, Queen Impressa, ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery today, okay? So this is called Pick Yourself Back Up. We are here not only on a full moon, but the blood moon to be exact, with a total lunar eclipse happening this morning during Mercury retrograde. So this is one of the most intense timelines I think we've ever gone through during this lifetime. It feels like we've shifted timelines so much since 2020, doesn't it? That's just my conspiracy brain working also intuitively. What the heck is actually going on? I wish I could astral project and remote view for y'all and give you some damn answers. I'm trying, I promise. But before I digress, if you don't know, I'll be doing tarot readings this Friday, March 6th at Summerwind Jewelers right in downtown Portsmouth, New Hampshire for their ladies' night. So come through from 5 to 8 p.m. and come visit me and see all the pretty diamonds. And just so you know, tickets are still for sale for my Tarot and Tea on Sunday, June 7th. At my Tarot and Tea event, we'll be doing some tea rituals, learning more about tarot, and getting to know each other some more in all good Bridgerton style. I can't wait to see you there. Tickets are on sale, link in all of my bios, okay? I also wanted to jump in here really quick that I was invited to speak at the Black Maternal Health Conference at St. Anselm in Manchester, New Hampshire recently by the Black Lives Matter New Hampshire, and did some grounding work for everyone during the morning and right before the end of the conference. And when I tell you the women, the allies, the everyone that was there, the energy was so electric, and I loved being near like-minded individuals. I love being near people that are way more educated than I am who can teach me something. There's that saying that goes, if you're the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong room. I always want to be learning, constantly learning something new that intrigues me, right? So I don't want to be forced to learn something that I think is boring. I want to be intrigued every day. I want to learn something and take that back and be like, whoa, this is how I can incorporate this into my life. And this maternal health conference really changed my outlook. Not only being a Black woman, but also learning about all of the trials and tribulations that people truly go through, some of the disasters and all of the disparities that happen to people of color and women of color. It's insane how often it happens, and it should not happen this way. And we continue to fight it. And I always say we just have to infiltrate everywhere and become better. What does Olivia Pope's dad say? You have to be twice as good, twice as good. And unfortunately, that's the way that it is in this day and age. But I still left with my head held high at that conference, and I loved everyone I was able to connect with and meet. And thank you to everyone who had the sweetest words to tell me, as this was my first conference that I ever got up to speak in front of a lot of people, and it was amazing. So thank you again. I can't wait to do it all over again next year. Well, anyways, come sit with me for a minute in these emotions. So just sit down exactly how you are. If you're already sitting, that's great. You've already finished step one. If you're driving, do what you can, okay? I understand people listen to these in different circumstances, so whatever helps you, you go ahead and do. Take a breath in that actually reaches your lungs. You know the kind that I'm talking about, the one that you forgot you needed, because this episode is about remembering you. We're moving through that full moon energy, like I spoke about, right? The emotions are loud, thoughts are even louder, and feel almost intrusive. The truth is sitting at the surface, whether we invite it or not. And yes, Mercury is still doing what Mercury does, unfortunately, stirring the pot, shaking loose what we tried to organize into neat little boxes, and making us double check everything from our emails to our own identity. But today, I don't want to talk about miscommunication or delayed plans. I want to talk about your belief in yourself. I'm talking the bone deep ancestral gut level knowing that you are allowed to exist fully in your power. That kind of belief is built in the spirit. That is where magic comes from. Real magic has never been about controlling outcomes. It's always been about aligning yourself with your intentions. Have y'all ever seen that diagram that shows all of the things you can control versus all the things you can't? That's what I'm talking about. Hoodoo, folk magic, spiritual work, whatever you want to call it. All these traditions were created by people who had every reason to lose faith in themselves and still chose to stand in it anyway. These practices were rooted in survival. Magic, at its core, even says, I am who I am, even when the world tells me I shouldn't. So, when we talk about using magic for self belief, we're talking about participation. You're showing up for yourself on the daily with precise intention and honesty. Self belief is a relationship, and honestly, it's the most important relationship you'll ever have in this lifetime, I promise you. And just like any relationship, it needs time, attention, and truth. Let's start with the full moon energy, because the moon in general is a great revealer. If you read tarot, you know the moon card is all about exposing secrets and shining light onto the unknown. It shines light on what's already there. Doubt comes up sometimes. Old stories come up, that voice that says you're behind, that you're not ready or not enough. Unfortunately, that voice can sometimes get really loud under a full moon. There's also a bunch of things if you start to really sit back and listen. People start wilding during the full moon. And I know from my nurses, my doctors, people that work in the hospital see this firsthand. My mother used to tell me all her full moon stories all the time, and it was some crazy ish that happened in those hospitals. But I digress again. When you have that voice inside that says you're not ready or enough, that doesn't mean you're failing spiritually at all. It means that the work is working, right? So, what you need to do, instead of saying, why do I feel like this? Why me? Going the pity route, we don't want to do that because that's not where the magic is. I want you to ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? What are the events trying to teach me? What can I gain from this circumstance? Now, mind you, you have 3 days prior to and 3 days after the full moon is at its peak to work this energy. But keep in mind, closer to the peak of the full moon is always going to make your intentions more potent. So here's a pro tip of what you can do during a full moon. I always suggest lighting a candle and sitting in front of it with a journal and a pen. You take a deep breath and ask yourself, where did I learn to question myself? Think about it for a while and write that down. Who benefits when I shrink? And what version of me have I been afraid to grow into? You can ask one or all of those questions, and then I want you, after you jot down just a little bit, I want you to listen to the quiet answer. One that your subconscious is already trying to program you into thinking isn't coming. That's because it's going to feel like it came from somewhere other than your own thoughts. And it is. That's your intuition and your spirit. Belief grows when you hear yourself and respond. Now let's talk about working magic into that process in a way that feels grounded. One of the most powerful things you can do for self-belief is to create a personal floor wash. And yes, we are getting very practical here. Spiritual work should touch your real life in every aspect. It should not be separate. Your home holds your energy. Every doubt you've paced through, every tear you've shed, every moment you've questioned your worth, it sits in the space unless you move it. So get yourself some warm water, add some salt, some rosemary, and maybe a splash of Florida water or lemon. You can buy Florida water at most metaphysical shops. I've even seen it sold at Walmart online. Or if you want, you can make your own that is special to the ingredients and intentions you put in. If you need a recipe, please comment on this podcast wherever you're seeing it or send me a DM on Instagram or TikTok to get some insight. Now, with everything combined in your bucket or wherever you have it, I want you to speak upon this as you're stirring it and make sure to do it clockwise as well, okay? So you're telling this water, we don't hold disbelief here anymore. With this wash, you can say, we rebuke disbelief. You can say, we wash away disbelief. You can say it however feels right to you, but essentially, we are using this wash to get rid of those negative self-limiting beliefs. So I want you to start at the back of your home as best as you can figure. You know, if it's not obvious which is the front and the back, I'd say whatever door you use less would be the back. Okay? So go with that and work towards the front door. So as you mop or you wipe, speak aloud. I walk in confidence, I stand in truth, and I trust myself. And I know if you have other people that are living with you and maybe you're closeted right now, a little witch lit, and you don't want people to know exactly what you're doing, you can always either just lightly whisper or say the words in your mind. This is all for you, so it doesn't have to be heard by anyone else. And this is a great tip. Like I said, if you are a closeted witch right now or you cannot practice outwardly, this is great. It literally looks like you're just washing the house and no one's going to think anything of it. So, like I said, you walk in confidence, you stand in truth, and you trust yourself. And I'm not saying you have to fully believe that yet, because that isn't the point right now. The point is rewiring your belief system. The more you say things, the more you start to believe. And the more you see things, the more you believe. This is tested time and time again through social media and society as a whole. Magic is about repetition. Brainwashing is about repetition. If you've seen all of the TV shows and movies that show what brainwashing may look like, in the government, it's all about repetition. It's about showing your spirit what you are trying to accomplish. And it's also showing your spirit when you're doing these affirmations that you're trying. And trying is so powerful. Self belief is built through evidence. So spiritual practice gives you that evidence. Now, I spoke on Mercury retrograde in my last podcast, but since we're new in it, I just want to give a quick refresher. Instead of blaming it on the chaos, use Mercury retrograde for reflection. Retrogrades pull us backwards so we can see what we skipped. This is the perfect time to revisit the parts of yourself you abandoned because they felt inconvenient or unrealistic. And this week, as I'm preparing to spend time with everyone at Ladies' Night, I'm thinking about how often we gather in spaces to celebrate beauty, connection, community, and still walk in carrying quiet insecurities. We compliment each other, we laugh, we show up dressed and glowing. Yet inside, some of us are asking, am I really allowed to take up space like this? Yes, you are. Whenever you damn well please. Adornment has always been spiritual. Historically, jewelry has been all about protection, status, intention, and memory. So when you put something on your body with awareness, it becomes a charm. The next time you clasp a necklace or slide on a ring, take a quick pause and say, I wear this as a reminder that I value myself and others value me as well. That's magic right there. That's intentional living. You don't need elaborate tools to practice belief work. All you need is presence. Our ancestors, and in this little snippet here, I'm specifically speaking to my Black kings and queens and everything in between here, didn't separate the sacred from the everyday because they couldn't afford to. Their power lived in daily repetition, cooking, cleaning, braiding hair, tending gardens. All of that carried prayer. And you get to reclaim that one step at a time. Self belief grows strongest in ordinary moments. So, bringing it back here, doing something on a Tuesday afternoon when you chose not to doubt yourself or your decision, or self belief during the conversation when you don't shrink your opinion. That's the work that you need to incorporate in the everyday. And let me tell you something, you are never too late to your life. It's your life. There's no spiritual deadline you missed, no version of you that you should have been by now. There's only the version of you that's ready to be trusted today. Magic meets you exactly where you are. So, under this full moon, instead of releasing parts of yourself in frustration, try affirming what is staying. Say, I'm keeping my voice, or my softness, or my power. And if you've been waiting for a sign to step into yourself more fully, let this be it. I don't tell you things for nothing. Now, as you go forth and add these daily practices into your life, I encourage you to start small. I know we want to buy all the things, all the crystals, the herbs, and all the candles in the store, but slow down for a moment and make it simple so you can train your brain to see the reality of magic. Light the tea candle. Dollar Tree has those, by the way. You can clean your space, which is free if you already have the cleaning materials, but again, Dollar Tree. Wear the jewelry you already have, but is now infused with your intention, free 99. And speak kindly to yourself when the doubt creeps in, also for free. That is how magic builds, in many moments layered together until one day you realize you're no longer asking for permission to exist as you are. You're just living. And that, my loves, is the most powerful spell you will ever cast. Now, I don't want to hear any excuses on, I can't afford to do this, I can't do this, I can't do that. You can take 5 minutes out of your day every day, Wake up earlier for 5 minutes. Or put your phone down for an extra 5 minutes before you go to bed and do your magic work, okay? There is time in the day, I promise you, for 5 minutes. So wherever you are listening to this, driving, sitting, getting ready, whatever, take one more breath in with me. Inhale, let it fill you, and exhale slowly. You don't have to become someone else. You just have to come home to yourself. And I'll be right here with you while you do. Bye, lovelies.